and welcome to a new episode of Rustie Sheep. My name is Ines and I live in a city called Wetteren, Belgium. If you're a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's lovely to have you here. Hi, how are you? I'm doing well. Actually, it's the second episode I recorded today. And I'm gonna tell you later why I decided to tape another one. So firstly, I wanna talk about what I'm wearing. This is a Grace cardigan from Jane Richmond. I knitted it last spring, I think. Yeah, around May last year, I finished it. It's a lovely cardigan. Look, with this lace pattern. It's also on the back of the lace, and I love this. This is knitted with fiber spades via Vicious in the deep aqua colorway. Yeah, I've written it down because otherwise I always have problems with the pronunciation. So yeah, this is what I'm wearing. Now, yeah, I just want to go over the last 1 month. The last episode I recorded, I was knitting the Carpino sweater from Caro Feller. I was knitting it for Lisa, my friend. I've talked about her in previous episode. And I finished it. Of course I did. Of course I finished it. I flew through that jumper again. And even it was fingering weight, sometimes I do think I knit while I'm sleeping or sleep knitting or whatever it's called. So yeah, I'll put a picture down here. Lisa wearing the jumper. Of course, it's way too hot now to wear a jumper like that, but she has it for when the weather turns or it gets chilly or whatever. It's knitted out of Tutus Ballroom EU in the Morley colorway. So that's my first finished object. Before I show you my second, I'm going through acquisitions a bit in between because there's a storyline. So while I was almost finishing the jumper for Lisa, I was like, I don't have anything to knit anymore, like a big project. When I think about it, I do have small like baby jumpers I need to knit because a few people around me have given birth or are pregnant. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna knit some baby jumpers, but I didn't. And I was like telling Michelle, like, oh, Michelle, I don't have a big project, and la la la, you know me. I was always like, I'm talking yarn to him, and he loves it. He was like, okay, and since he's really, really in love with this jumper I made him, the So Basic sweater, Maxime Cyr, something like that. He's so in love with it. He's wearing it all the time. Like, I know I've been mentioning this a couple of times, but it is true. Every time I see him, he's either wearing the jumper or he has a jumper with him in case the weather changes. So yeah, he was like, yeah, I have 2 DK weight jumpers. I'd rather have 2 fingering weight jumpers as well. I was like, yeah, okay, let's do this. So we decided to knit him another sweater and he was paying for the yarn again. I love that, like shopping for yarn and spending someone else's money, and I can just choose the yarn that I want. And he's like, yeah, this is kind of the budget, and it's always a good budget for jumpers, you know. So we ended up with Martin's Lab. Martin and his wife Justina, I met a couple of years ago while I was in Edinburgh Yarn Fest. I actually followed a course of Justina, and and I met Martin on the stand. He had his own booth on Edinburgh Yarn Fest. And I was like, okay, there's no promise. Because, back then, honestly, I didn't have the big budgets I was still a beginner. So for me, it was looking in the budget to make something. And I was like, yeah, there was a colorway, Dragonfly, it was called. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I was like, the last year, if he's still got 3 skeins left, I'm allowed to buy it. If I was good on the Yarn Fest, and chances. I'm a person like that. If it's still there when I get back, then I'm allowed to have it. It's like sometimes I need a reason for myself to prove it. Like, you're allowed to do this. But now I'm changing a bit of mentality. But so long story short, it was a while since I used Martin's Lab. It's meaning like 4 or 5 years ago. So we decided, look at that colorway. It's called Admiral. It's a dark blue, jeans blue. Yeah, now it's coming up. Look, this color. I only have 2 skeins left because I already bind it on. I already cast on the jumper I'm making for Michelle. I'm just going to show you that. So in total, I have 4 skeins. It's a merino single. It's actually the first time for me using merino singles. I use sock, I use fingering, I know that, but singles actually was something I couldn't grasp. It is thinner, than a fingering weight yarn, but the pattern said for fingering, so I swatched. I hardly do that. I only do that when I do color work and I want to see if the colors matches. If the second color I chose really pops out or not. So I hardly swatch. But with the first swatch I did following the pattern, my gauge was off. So I went up a needle size. No, I went up 2 needle sizes and then fit was too big. So I went down a needle size. So instead of a 3.5, I'm using a 3.75 right now. But it's all tangled up. That is what you get when you use 2 balls. You need to, because in the first jumper, I didn't really do that. Like alternate skeins. But today, with this jumper, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. But look at that. It's such a beautiful color. It's got speckles. It's really nice. And he saw it and he fell in love again. I choose the brand and then he tells me what kind of color he likes. Green is his favorite color, but next to that it's blue. And I show him a few pictures of what kind of blue he would like, and then he chose this one. Actually, there was another one I preferred more, but his jumper, he's paying for it, so I've got nothing to say. But I'm happy. It's so soft. Of course, it's merino. Really, really soft. So I cast on this jumper, I think, right before I left to Lisbon. Yeah, I went to Lisbon. So I was finishing up the jumper for Lisa. We've ordered this yarn at the Martin's Lab. And Michelle always treats me well, and it rhymes. So I was allowed to pick another skein. Look at that colorway. It's called Boats in Venice. And I'm dead crazy. Look, this is my colorway. This is my color. Yeah, you'll see. I'm into light blues. I like blue as a color. Like, I'm wearing blue, and I have to tell you something more later. So this shipment came. So I started working on it. I was like, yeah, I finished the jumper for Lisa. I started working on this. But by then, we were supposed to leave for a destination. Originally, I booked a trip with Surprise Me. That's an organization in Belgium and in the Netherlands, I think, where you just book a trip, a city trip, a couple of days, and you don't know the destination. And it's called Surprise Me. But a week before we left, I got a message saying, yeah, we're going to cancel everything. But we can send you on a road trip in Belgium. I was like, no, I'm not doing a road trip in Belgium. I can easily go away. Belgium is not that big. We just went away in April for a weekend in Belgium. I was like, I need to go abroad. So I was like talking to Lisa. I was like, yeah, what should we do? She was like, oh, let's do the Belgium thing. I was like, no, may I just let me have a look what the possibilities are. I used to work in tourism for about 11 years, so I know a lot about flights and booking hotels and destinations, but I didn't know about the whole COVID thing, so I started reading up on that. And because Portugal was orange, and we were orange, like the safety color code, And I was like reading, and I was like, oh, if we get back from Lisbon or Portugal in general, we don't need to go into quarantine because we're both orange, and you know, Belgium legacy, Belgium rules, regulations and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, okay, Portugal, destination. Because at that time, Spain was already changing into red, even with Denmark, like some, like Iceland I was looking for because that was green. But because we came from orange, we had to go in quarantine there. I was like, yeah. So we decided to go to Lisbon. Firstly, I was checking Porto, but the hours of the flights weren't good. So Lisbon it was. I've been to Lisbon before. I think 6-7 years ago I've been to Lisbon. Actually on the day, the person, my friend who still works in a travel agency, travel office, she booked the hotel for us, and she actually texted me, 7 years ago we were there at the same moment, and I was like, oh, how funny was that? So yeah, so we went to Lisbon, and it's an amazing city. I was surprised how much came back while I was there. I started recognizing certain squares and, you know, certain monuments. I was like, oh, right, yeah. And then I knew my way around. I was like, where did this all came from? But before we left, I was like, yarn shops in Lisbon. And then I hit it. It hit me. Rosapomar is a brand, a Portuguese brand, and their shop is in Lisbon. Of course I had to go. Of course I had to. And I just taped a small video. It's like 10 to 13 seconds, and I'll edit it at the end. It's just, you know, a look around in the shop, you know. Rosapomar is actually the brand, the yarn brand, the yarn company I used for Michelle's previous jumper, but it was colored by La Bien-Aimée. I've used Rosapomar as well for a pair of socks. It's sturdy Portuguese wool. I'm very happy with it. And of course I had to buy something. This I didn't pay for. This I did. But still, mind you, the story continues. So, ta-dum. I was good. I was really, really good because I only had hand luggage. It was already stuffed because, yeah, we went to the beach. We had like clothing. You know, my hand luggage was full. So I had to be good. So I chose this sock yarn. Mondim. I've used it before. And actually I can get it here in Belgium as well. But I was like, yeah, I want to buy this in the Rosapomar store. This is a little leaflet I got from them. Just Retrosaria. I think it's called Rosapomar is the brand, and I'm not sure what Retrosaria is, but so this. I was good. I'm telling you, I was good in Portugal. But then I saw this Schrubbel. It's a German brand. It's a sock yarn. It's called, let me see, check. Zaberball Crazy by Schrubbel. I was like, yeah, I've seen this brand before while I was in Berlin a couple of years ago, and I didn't buy anything. And I've been following them on Instagram, I think, and they always have lovely colors. I was like, yeah, this is my color. These are hopefully going to be a pair of socks. Not sure what I'm going to do with them. It's called Indian Rosa or something. It's 75% yarn, virgin wool, 25% nylon, biodegradable. It's got 420 meters, so it would be perfect for a pair of socks. I'm good, you know, 2 skeins, that's it. I wanted to buy something while I was there, 2 skeins. So if you count 4 of these, I'm thrown with it. 4 of these, 1 of these, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I didn't end there. That's actually the reason I am recording this episode again. It's before this morning. My package hasn't arrived yet, and now it did. Okay, let's go back to Lisbon. I know I'm all over the place again. So Lisa's jumper was done. I was just starting this one, but I still had to wind the second bowl. I was like, I don't want to travel with a jumper, to Lisbon. I just need something small, something I can knit on the plane with. And also, these are my Chaigu needles, and I don't want them to be taken away from border security or, security. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to take something with me that if they do take my needles, it's just a cheap brand of needles. I don't need to take, I won't mind as much as my Chaigus. So I decided to take a pair of socks. Socks, I perfectly travel knitting. On the plane, I didn't knit, but I did knit in the park. I did knit while we were having a drink somewhere. I did knit on holiday. So, and I finished my socks. Remember these? My Christmas socks. It's called Zooming Home for Christmas from Stranded Dye Works. I started this the 3rd of January and I just finished it this week. I was like, honestly, I am knitting Christmas socks in June. Yeah, I can wear them then by Christmas, by the time it's Christmas. But look, they're amazing. I love them. They're so gorgeous. And they smell good because I've just washed them and blocked them. So, 2 finished objects, zooming home for Christmas. Yes, I can't wait for Christmas. So, that's the finished object part. I've got my new cast on. And then, so Lisbon, really great. We enjoyed it. We went for a day at the beach. We had massages. We went to a very, very good sushi place, sushi restaurant. It's called Nomada. It was absolutely gorgeous. I'll put a picture here of the food. I know I'm making you jealous if you love sushi, but yeah. So it was an expensive trip, Lisbon. The trip itself, the flights and hotel was cheap. But while we were there, we didn't pay attention. It's like, it's been more than a year, like a year and a half since I went away on holiday. Only was a couple of days, but still. The last trip I took was in Oslo 2019 with my ex-boyfriend. So I needed a fresh start. I needed a trip, I was longing for it. So we didn't pay attention to money. We were like, yeah, it's been so long. So we had lunch, good dinner. It was always like very expensive, some sangria, some Aperol Spritz, a drink we have here. And I found it at Lisbon as well. And I recently discovered that drink. I hardly drink any alcohol, but now I got a taste for that, just enjoying the sun, being on a terrace, that is life. We also did a boat trip. As I said, we did massages. It was, just a relaxing holiday. And whilst sightseeing, and we didn't do the whole tourist part and stuff like that. So yeah, money was really, really spent. But well, we went shopping, stuff like that. So yeah. And then I think 2 days ago, I was like, yeah, the rest of the month, I'm going to be good. I'm not going to spend a lot of money anymore because, Lisbon was really expensive. And I also bought a lounge for the garden. So that was also quite an investment. So I was like, yeah, I need to watch my money. I was also supposed to get a new tattoo next week. I want to fill my arm and make a sleeve. But then I just canceled that appointment because I was like, no, that's way too expensive. So 2 days ago, I got an email from Trollenwol. Trollenwol is a shop in the Netherlands. Yeah, and I kind of made an order 2 months ago, but the brand the yarn I wanted was out of stock, and it's a Norwegian brand, and they had to wait a long time to get it. So 2 days ago, she emailed me saying, your order is in. How many skeins would you love? Which colorway? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna do that. So I ordered yarn again. I couldn't, they ordered it especially for me. I couldn't then not say that I didn't want it anymore. Even I already have this haul, I have 7 skeins, this, this. Yeah, I just made it worse. It just arrived. Actually, 10 minutes ago, it arrived. So let me show you the box. Yarn. Again, so much yarn. Look at that colorway. It's called Petrol. It's Vide from Hillesvåg. It's Norwegian yarn. It is Arwen weight, and it has about 200 meters per 100 grams. So yeah. Oh, there's a trinket here. I got 4 skeins. And I know what I'm making with this. That's the reason I ordered it. I want to make the Librarian by Skeiner Knits. So I know what I'm going to do with it. It's not just anything. It's not just a random buy. It has a purpose. Yeah, but budget-wise, I need to pay attention. Next month I'll be good. I'm not sure. Honestly, I cannot promise that. The thing is, I do love treating myself. I've had a difficult year or 2 or 10, whatever you want to call it. But I'm always an optimist and I love treating myself. So this is a new jumper for me. This is winter. So yeah, look, it's so lovely. Yeah. So now, honestly, I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to buy any yarn anymore. Because I've been thinking I've got way too much sock yarn. And I've been now realizing that I said I won't buy any sock yarn anymore. I have 2 skeins. Depending on what I'm going to do with this. 3 skeins of sock yarn. Now I have another jumper. I still need to knit some baby knits. I think I need more time off to knit, because yeah, and also the weather is really warm out now, so I still have my Feedy top as well. I need to finish by Juliana Lustenader. That was hand dyed. That yarn was hand dyed for me by Wool-Based in the Netherlands. Yeah. Okay. I have to put my belt on. I'm not allowed to buy any yarn anymore. Technically, this I didn't pay for. All the rest, I did pay for. Well, that is life. We are yarn addicts. We are proud to be yarn addicts. Yeah, I'm a proud yarn addict. So this will be the title of this episode. I'm a proud yarn addict. Oh, really. But we all know that those colors are amazing. Look, those speckles. Of course we fall in love with yarn like this. It has appealing colors. Same with this. The speckles. Yeah, I know. I'm an addict. So, yeah, I think I've covered everything I want to talk about. Yeah, I think I did. In the previous episode, I was saying a bit much about the trip. I was telling a bit more about the trip. But, every episode is different. It's me rambling. It's me just going with the flow. And that's what you get from watching this channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.